close to the head on the set. Right over here.
Well, Mr. Ferguson, I'm a big fan. I'd like to thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks.
And, I was wondering, what is one thing that you would change that I think some of the fans don't like? If you had the option to change it, what would it be?
What would I change? Does it have to be that you wouldn't like? That feels like a trap. I mean, I'm not a genius. That seems like a trap. But so, one thing that I would change about the show, or just in life, like I want wheels instead of feet. Here's what we tried to do, and took us a bunch of years to do. So this is sort of the answer. We always wanted to do more character-driven stuff. I always walk this way. I can walk that way. What we always wanted to do was to have more character-driven stuff on the show, and it took us a long time to be able to make it happen. The first episode that happened was the one that I directed because I couldn't be in it. So it was Eureka's Your Face or Mine, and it was the first time that the A-plot, the major plot of the show, had been given to someone other than my character, and it was Eureka, where her face, the girl comes and, oh, I hate your face, and she's her. See, that's why I'm not a writer. So that was the first one that they did that, and where it got to is we ultimately, when they stopped paying attention, because they all of a sudden had Warehouse in production, they had Defiance they were working on, and the network got spread thin. And when they got spread thin, they sort of said to us, well, you guys know what you're doing, so just go do it. And that's when we got to do stuff like Jack of All Trades, where we got to do impressions of each other, which we loved. Like, we had so much fun doing it. And we sort of hang out like and watch each other do impressions, and then you're like, I do not speak like that. You know, we bug each other. That was fun. Smarter Carter, another character-driven episode, which these are my favorites. Up in the Air, which I took a back seat in, and there was much more going on with the other characters. I always liked the other characters so much, and I felt like they had so much to do. The one character that I wish we got to, and we never got to, was Vince, the cook. He pitched so many episodes where it was like, you know, something's being stolen from the freezer, so he, Fargo, and Holly stake out the freezer all night long. And we thought that would be a really fun sort of C-plot or a B-plot to have on the show. So I wish we got to him, because also Gauthier is an amazing actor. Like he's such a good actor. You've seen him in all sorts of stuff that he's done. I mean, he's been in every series or movie that's gone to Vancouver, pretty much, right? Like he was in Sanctuary, he was the superhero in Sanctuary, he's done so much stuff. So I wanted to get to Chris, is what I wanted to get to. Anyway, thanks, man.
Right over here.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I have a lot of activities that I do, and I have a lot of fandoms that I watch, so I haven't exactly seen your show.
Okay.
I
haven't watched you do activities, so we're sort of even. That sounded great.
I did slap you, you know. So, this question is gonna depend on whether I'm gonna watch the show or not.
Done.
What does TARDIS stand for?
What is what?
What does TARDIS stand for?
TARDIS?
Yes.
What does TARDIS stand for? How many questions do I get?
You get 3.
I get 3? Is it an acronym?
Yes, it is an acronym.
Whoa.
You can guess the whole word 3 times.
I guess the whole word 3 times?
Yes.
Alright. Does it have something to do with the space being ever so slightly larger on the inside than it is on the outside? Am I getting warmer?
Yes, you're getting warmer.
Alright, excellent. Is the last word spaceship?
No.
Alright. I know about 4 words that begin with T. Do we get a lifeline? Can I call a friend? Come on! Alright,
Your call would be Wheaton.
I didn't discern any one of these people. I'm not gonna get this. This sucks.
You're actually a lot closer than you think you are.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you a hint. It's in Doctor Who.
On the list of the worst hints ever. It's in Doctor, right. Inside dimension.
Yeah.
I have a sense that one of the words is dimension. Alright, so, dimension in time. Alright, time and dimension in space. Very close.
That's not it. You forgot
It's
it.
not it. You're tough. He's not. He's tough on you. What's that?
You got 4 of the 6 words.
All right.
You get one more try.
Time. Relative. How's that? Close?
Time and relevant dimension in space.
I was close. Okay, so here's the deal. You gotta watch 15 minutes. Could you imagine if every question was just like math? It's like, I got a question. It's a quadratic equation. Look at Cerra. I'm sitting up here like crying. Jealous?
Colin, I talked to you the other day, and you were just as awesome then, and I think you absolutely kill your role in the show. I'm very disappointed that it's over. I will ask this. You are one of my favorite actors in the show, but at the same time, I need to know how awesome was it working with Joe Morton?
Joe's amazing. You can't undercut the importance of Joe on a bunch of different levels. One, he's the elder statesman of our cast, right? Like, he's done more than everybody. He's more critically acclaimed than everybody. He's better than everybody. He's like he's who you want to be when you grow up, basically. It's Joe Morton. And the crazy thing, the best thing about having someone like Joe on the set is his work ethic is phenomenal. This is a guy who could phone it in and you wouldn't know the difference. It really wouldn't make a difference because he knows what he's doing backwards and forwards. But he, like, after the table read, Joe got known as Dr. Logic because Joe would go home and look up and correct all the science in the episode. Yeah. Writers love that. So he'd go to set and he'd say like, well, this is my line and I would say that if it was right. So, oh yeah, Joe's the best. So what it does is when you have somebody who's as accomplished as Joe not phoning it in, it means that no one else is allowed to phone it in, which is more important for the younger actors as they're coming up. Because as they look at the tone on set, you take your marching orders from the people above you. And so they were forced to know their lines and do the research, and that made them better actors. So having someone like Joe around is like, you can't replace that. He's just a phenomenal human being. Yeah.
I got a text message saying we have to get out of here. I'm ignoring that text message because I want these 6 people to get their questions in.
Let's do it. Let's as quick as we can. All the monosyllabic answers. Go.
I feel like I should say, if you can recite pi to 9 decimal places, I'll buy a DVD. You've also you've mentioned a few times that Sci-Fi is a weird company to work for.
Yeah.
And you have been also in one of their original movies, Lake Placid 3.
Yes.
You're welcome. I was wondering, is there a big difference between working on a Sci-Fi series as opposed to working on a Sci-Fi original movie?
Yes. Yeah, and the movies we shot that one in Bulgaria. Bulgaria from Maine. Sure. And yeah, I mean those are super low budget movies, and I had to when I first did it, I was getting all the interviews with the reporters and whatnot. I had to call the channel because I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know. you don't want to say to the press like, yeah, I'm doing this bad movie. You're like, I was like, what do you guys call them? Is B movie okay? And they're like, we don't like the term B movie. I was like, okay. What do you got?
If you just say sci-fi original movie, they know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, great, popcorn movies, that's what we'll go with. But the story I had about that is I did this interview, and the movie that I was directing was called Fossils. So I said that, I'm doing this movie called Fossils, and he misheard me because it was Skype, because I was in Bulgaria, and he wrote that I said the movie was awful. And so I get this email like, what you doing? Like, the check's cleared. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you gotta be that guy. So, that's a paraphrase. That was that. But yeah, so then we'd go and correct the thing. But yeah, it's very, very different. There's no money, there's no budget. In some senses, that's very freeing because there's no producers around. You do what you want. At 12 hours, the plug is pulled and you're going home. So you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta be able to get it. But on the other hand, the visual effects at times can be lacking. As the Bulgarian, cast can sometimes be a little inexperienced. My leg! Anyway, thank you.
They cast Schwarzenegger. All right over here.
Hi, I honestly love Eureka, great show. One of the things I noticed about it is it's got a huge cast every episode and so many sets and so many extras and and again, like a lot of the actors, it's fun to find them other places. We call it the Sci-Fi bin. Like, oh, he came from the bin. But what was it like?
AKA Vancouver.
Yeah. What was it like to try to? I mean, that's just a huge amount of organization with all the huge, all the sets and all the stuff. So, what were some of the problems or challenges you faced with the huge casts every week?
It never fell down to me. I mean, they did such a good job running it. Robert Petrovich was our line producer, and he's the man responsible for all that, and he comes from the military in Canada, and it's that, I mean, a film set is military. There is no fat. Everybody knows their job. You do your job. If you can't do your job with a good attitude, you're gone. And I love that. I mean, that's the only way to work on a film set, because you can't, it's not a place for favors, right? Like you're trying to fit so much information in a 12-hour day that it's impressive. Any military people here? Yeah. So you get it, right? It's that. There you go. So it's that thing. You can't. You need that sort of level of precision to get it done because you're moving a unit every day. You're moving 200 people every day to a different location. Everybody shows up within minutes of each other, know exactly what they have to do, and you're wrapped up and gone. No trace camping by 6 o'clock. Tail lights. So it's like, and even the lingo I speak in. Right? Like it's so, I don't know, does it sound weird? Oh. Alright then. Anybody can do it. No, so that's the answer, yeah. It's an unbelievable line producer, and his name is Robert Petrovich. He did all of it.
Awesome,
yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
Right over here.
And that's why also when someone's late for work, it's a big deal. It's like, it's $100,000 an hour. If someone's like, oh, I'm caught in traffic, you're like, oh, that's an expensive traffic jam. So, you gotta be on work at time. Hey, go ahead.
All right, my wife Colleen wanted me to ask this question.
All right.
She was Amy Pond yesterday.
Yeah, I met her yesterday, right?
Right.
And you were a superhero with her. Yeah.
She wanted to know on the episode where you changed personalities with everybody because you're Z-Waves.
Yeah.
Which personality you liked the best?
I liked, they were difficult. Niall was hard. If you couldn't hear the episode where I changed Jack of all trades is the name of the episode where I changed bodies with everybody. What was my favorite character? Niall was the hardest because we're probably the most similar. Salli was very difficult because they had me sitting in a bed to play a woman, which you sort of lean on your body, more. Yeah, because that's how Salli stands. She does it. You see the shoes she's wearing? Like, oh! So she's no, probably my favorite was Fargo because it was sort of like playing a Muppet. Like, in ways that normal people don't then. Like they're sitting there like, what would Fargo do? It's like he could probably do this from the hip flexors. So you're like, straight back. And he keeps his hand like this. Like the rest of us sort of do this, you know, and he goes like, so it's a weird thing. So he was probably I had the most fun playing him. And the crew had the most fun when I played him. So, anyway, thank you. Where's your wife, by the way? Oh, couldn't ask your own question. Ask this question.
I just like how he palms it off. This was her question. Right over here.
Hi. How was it different from working as an actor to director while filming episodes of Eureka?
It was great. It was different because as an actor, you get the problems in the 11th hour. So it's always a stress to fix them. And that's very difficult. It's difficult to do gracefully. It's difficult to do elegantly. As a director and as a producer, you get the problems way earlier because you have a 7-day production meeting before the episode begins. So you can jump on stuff early and say, hey, we can't do this. You know, that's the torpedo that's going to sink us. You know, Eureka can do this. We don't need to change it. You know, I know she can do that. And so I like directing a lot more because I got to protect the cast. And I got to protect the story. And really, you know, when I could get to set as a director, I could say, you know, do what you do. Because I know they know what they're doing. And it was hard to get directors we hadn't worked with before. No offense to them, but when you haven't worked with someone before, they don't know what you can do. And they don't know what your foibles are. And they don't know that this person's really good on take 1, this person needs 4 takes. Just how they are, it's how they work. So knowing how everybody works, it just makes it so much more smooth. And I would rap early when I directed it, and we would go great. I love directing. Thank you.
Right over here.
I'm too short for this. My last name's actually is Tall. Anyway, I had a question because astrology is one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
And I was curious where you were born and what your birthday is.
July 22nd is when I was born, 1972. And fantastic year for humans. And I was born in Montreal, Canada. I believe at 1:04 p.m., but that could be a lie. I wasn't paying attention at the time. I was super busy, very upset.
So you said 07 what now?
July 22nd,
07/22.
Yeah, 07/22/72.
1972. Okay. Because I don't know whether you realize it, I don't know if you've ever had your chart done before, but because you like to talk, it's very easy for me to tell that you're very mercurial.
Okay. Mercury
is the planet.
Makes me feel like mercurial. I guess be like on a Shakespeare set with wings.
Right. Well, you're not Shakespeare, but he's more. But what I meant is, Shakespeare is more Scorpio. You are either you have you obviously have a lot of Gemini or Sagittarius or
I think it's Sagittarius rising. I think I looked at
yeah, right. Because comedy is one of the things that's very mercurial.
Well, actually, to be honest, I was an incredibly shy kid. I couldn't speak in public without getting very upset till I was 17.
And that happens often with people who are born with a huge Virgo or Gemini influence.
My Virgo is enormous.
I just wonder, is there any Eureka slash fiction out there?
There's what?
Is there any Eureka slash fiction out there? There's.
Yeah, Nathan, apparently there's Nathan Stark, and apparently you wrote it.
Yes!
Alright, thank you. Last question of the day, kill it.
Kill it. You got it, bring it home.
So, how are you today? Thank you for your time.
Gotta tell you, it's been an amazing weekend of Q&As. This has been the most fun. Colin Ferguson!